During summer months when oranges in Florida and California aren't in season, the United States imports most of its fruit from Southern Hemisphere producers like Peru and from groves such as this one in South Africa. It's South Africa's biggest agricultural export, with citrus products destined for the U.S. alone accounting for $132 million in 2022. We are here in Citrusdale, a town in the Western Cape that's home to around 200 farms. It's also the only fruit-producing region in South Africa with direct access to the U.S. market. Among the region's farmers meeting the strict U.S. regulations for sales is Gerrit van der Merwe. He grows 50 different varieties of fruit spread over 1,000 hectares. From growing, picking, packing, and shipping, his team does it all from this one-stop facility.
For ALG in the Citrusdale Valley, we're very much European based. So Europe is our biggest market, then the US. But the US takes our premium product. So we send our best product to the USA to make sure we get our premium prices.
His oranges, limes, and lemons end up on the shelves of Whole Foods and Trader Joe's, benefiting from a US trade law called AGOA. It provides duty-free access to the U.S. market, access President Trump has threatened to end. As a result, South Africa's agriculture minister has strongly urged farmers to look for new export markets. But that's easier said than done.
Citrusdale has been supplying under AGOA for about 25 years into the USA. So we've built our supply chains. We've built our supermarkets, we've built our importing companies on that side. So we've been trying to hone that market to make sure that we're very, very efficient going into that market. For us, it's very naive to think we can move a market.
Trade was a key issue for President Cyril Ramaphosa during his May visit to President Donald Trump. And while the meeting was tense, ABSA economist Marlene Lowe said she still expects the tariff to return to the original baseline level.
We agree with the 10% dispensation going on beyond the 9th of July. I think given the fact that South Africa submitted a trade proposal after our presidential visit to the US, kind of leaves things open and we don't foresee the 30% being reinstated.
As his produce leaves Cape Town Harbor for the U.S., the next few months will provide valuable insights on whether American consumers can absorb higher costs. For Gerrit, retaining market share despite any new tariffs will be key.
We're hoping that sanity will prevail and we can stay on the 10%, and the 10% we'll manage. I think it's going to make fruit slightly more expensive in the USA.
And the fruits of Gerrit's labor may profit handsomely if he turns out to be right. And citrus farms aren't the only agribusiness threatened by Trump's tariffs. Let's bring in Bloomberg's Ntando Tukwana, who has been reporting on this story for us. So, Ntando, besides citrus, what are the other sectors in South Africa that you think are most vulnerable to these tariffs?
I mean, some of the notable industries that are finding themselves in the crosshairs of these trade tariffs are our wine industry, as well as our automotive industry. For our wine industry, for instance, we save about 20 million rand annually from exporting our produce under the AGOA, which obviously, as you know, allows African exporters to, ship their products to the U.S. markets duty-free. So we potentially stand to lose out on that saving. And the U.S. has been touted as a strategic market specifically for the wine industry, so that is a huge loss for them. And on the auto sector, we know that there's a separate levy that has been imposed on South Africa's automotive sector, which is placed at 25%. And the industry body has actually warned that producers or car manufacturers and parts manufacturers will not be able to absorb the additional costs from the tariffs. So that's a huge issue. But they've also said that the tariff stands to threaten operations and value chains in the region and, threaten producers such as Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Toyota, which have, quite sizable operations and plants in the country.